hey, we're Journey, we got some new shit for you. Everyone's like, get the fuck off the fucking stage.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to hear the old shit.
Yeah.
Give me a small town girl in a lonely world. Give me hope in my shitty life. Hey, you're listening to the shit they don't tell you. You know what that is?
It's our podcast. It's our podcast, honey.
I'm freezing up here. I'm freaking out.
You're freaking out?
I'm freaking out.
Don't freak out. It's just our podcast. It's a CastBox original, a produced in partnership with Studio 71. CastBox is the fastest growing, highest rated podcast app on both iOS and Android. Did you know that?
Yes.
Are you freaking out?
I'm freaking out over
Stop
here.
freaking out, honey.
Look, you know why I'm freaking out? Because of the deals, okay? You get this for free. All right? The app is for free. And then it's where you can find all your favorite podcasts. You can listen to shit they don't tell you wherever you get your podcasts. But we honestly hope that you'll give CastBox a shot because we think it's the best.
It's like home base.
Are you listening to this on CastBox?
Hopefully.
Then why are we advertising it to you? I guess is my question.
In case they're not.
Hey, if you're on Android or you're on Apple, you're tools of the system.
No, they can get it. They can get CastBox if they're on Android or Apple.
All right. Well, that's good to know.
Why didn't anyone tell me?
Yo, what's up? My name's Steve Greene. Welcome to Shit They Don't Tell You podcast.
I'm Nikki Limo.
And today we are joined by a very special guest, Alex Deason and Amber Bollinger from the indie rock duo Broken Baby. Also, Alex happens to be a record label manager and owner. Alex?
Wait, the manager part is Palo Santo Records, and he owns Poor Man Records.
Correct.
Nice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That was good.
Exactly.
Yeah, you failed your
Smooth
job.
as butter. Smooth as silk.
Well, thank you for being here today. So we wanted to talk to you guys. We're like super excited because like a lot of people dream about being rock stars and musicians and touring and like being on the road and stuff. And I just want to talk to you about what that life is actually like. Like, I'm sure it's not all glamorous. I'm sure there are some glamorous parts to
I'm sure
it.
it's mostly glamorous,
Yeah,
but
it's
probably like
totally
10%
glamorous.
it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Totally all glamorous, 0% not glamorous.
Yeah.
Interview over.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. Wow.
Yeah. Not a lot of
Misconception.
cleanliness, but it is fun. Yeah.
Yeah, how is that with showers and stuff?
You just got to be quick or
Yeah.
just don't do it at all.
Do you stay in hotels or you stay in a bus?
We stay in hotels.
No. Buses are for like really rich people.
Okay.
People that are really, really making it.
Yeah, really killing it.
Gotcha.
Really killing it out there.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Greta Van Fleet or something.
Got it.
So mostly hotels.
Yes. Sometimes people's houses if we stay like at a friend's place,
Yeah.
which we try to do.
There are a lot of generous people out there.
Yeah.
a lot of murderers.
That's nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you ever have to like use their shampoo and stuff? And
Oh,
or,
yeah.
like, and is there ever like is there ever hair? I always get scared of people taking showers in my place because like I put my hair on the wall.
Yeah.
Because
Is that how it gets on the wall?
yeah,
You
because
put it on the friggin' wall?
because you don't want it to go down the drain. Because I've had to deal with
Yeah,
some
yeah.
fucked up drains
And we're
before.
dealing with that right now in our house.
It's
See?
so strange.
See?
I will just see a spiral of hair on the wall. And I'm like, what? How does it happen like that?
Leave
The
us a
perfect
comment if you can
spiral.
relate to that. Because I feel like I'm not alone in this.
You're
Like
not
the,
alone.
I thought like
Thank
the
you.
Whirlpool
Thank you.
logo.
I
You
do
know what I'm
that.
saying? Like it's like
Yeah.
that, but with her hair.
Okay, so but like then I wait for it to dry so I could take it and put it in the trash can instead
And then
of
you don't do it.
No, it's just I remember when I'm about to take a shower again. So
Right.
like in
You've already
between the
seen it.
showers, yeah, like if a guest sees our shower, it's just that's gross,
Yeah.
you know? And then so
90% of the time I remember.
okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I don't remember.
Exactly.
It's just
Dude, you
dark
have
in
long
there.
hair too. You don't do that shit though.
I don't do
He
it.
just lets
See?
it go down the drain, which is
See?
fucking up our
which is
system.
kind of clogged right now.
Okay, I saw this Shark Tank episode. By the way, tangent. There's this Shark Tank episode, and it did get bought. So like they funded it, so I know you can buy it places. But there's this like chain that you can put in your shower drain, and it catches all the hair. Supposedly, they made it look super
That's a good
efficient.
idea.
Yeah, and I really want it. Maybe for Christmas.
Yeah.
I
Now
don't
you're
know.
not getting that shit for
When's
Christmas.
your birthday?
November 2nd.
Oh,
maybe
for
your
your
birthday.
No, absolutely not. Don't pimp for presents. It's not happening.
It's
No.
gonna
That's a
help
really good
you.
idea.
If you were Jewish, you'd have 12 chances to get it.
Right?
Well, 13, including
Yeah, I'm
your
just
birthday.
an unlucky agnostic person.
Yeah. Who celebrates Christmas? Like it's the fucking 4th of July.
I
know.
celebrate commercial holidays because I'm
Yeah.
a fan of commercials.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah,
I
you get
believe in
paid.
commercials.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and commercialism,
Yeah,
which is probably one of your guys' favorite things as indie rock duo.
Yeah.
yeah.
Commercialism.
Absolutely.
Totally.
What's your favorite song about commercialism?
God.
Every
Have
single
you,
Katy Perry song, maybe.
Have you always wanted to do this? Was this always something that you're like, this is my purpose. I need to do it.
Oh,
well, Alex has been playing music since he was a kid, but he was actually an actor first.
That is true.
Oh.
He was, who were
Ew.
you in
Reluctant
Les
child
Mis?
Very
actor?
reluctantly, I
Les
was.
Mis?
Oh my God! Really?
Lost in Yonkers?
Wow.
Little Broadway kid over here.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh. Look
And
at
then
you.
he's like,
Tonight.
fuck this shit. I'm going to write music. And that's when he started learning
You know what's
music.
funny is actually you got out of Amber. You got out of acting by giving yourself a haircut that would create a situation where you would not be able to be cast.
Correct.
And I did the same thing when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah, we just talked about this
Because
the
I
other
didn't
day.
want to go on auditions anymore, and my mother was like not hearing it. So I just literally had my friends cut me a mohawk. And
It works every time.
And then she was like, "What? Oh God!" And that was the end of it.
But how come in a bunch of '90s movies I saw those kids with mohawks?
Well, and actually, I was
He
in a
was.
movie with the mohawk. I couldn't even
With Natalie Portman.
Even that I couldn't escape from.
That's amazing.
And that,
That's
I think that
awesome.
was the last thing
Were
I
you a
ever.
bully kid? Like, get out of the way, freako!
Were you like a ball kid that like...
I didn't have any
Bald
lines
kid.
or anything, but I was like
Who's
a
a bald
punk kid who was trying to get money from Natalie Portman, I think.
Perfect. That's like the Terminator 2. All those kids were probably like all your friends.
Yep.
Remember that shit? Where
I did
Edward
audition for
Furlong
that
is
movie,
like
yep.
in the arcade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I'll never forget that shit. That was my first introduction to bully acting in movies, and I've been in love with it ever since.
bully acting.
Oh yeah, bully acting's the
bully
best.
acting technique.
Like, out of my way! You're a freaking freak! Like all that
They have
stuff.
to go to a lot
love
of training for that.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's
A lot
method
of
and then there's
Meisner
bully.
techniques in bully training.
What was it like as a kid actor? What's that like?
It was terrible. It was
Did you do
ridiculous.
movies with Macaulay?
No.
Oh well.
I didn't really do any. Most of it was theater, and most of the theater was just two plays, which
Billy
was
Elliot and
and Hamilton.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Which brought him
it
to
was,
singing.
It was Les Mis and then Lost in Yonkers. So that was the bulk of it, and then there was like a couple TV commercials, and then there was a walk-on role in a movie, The Professional, with Natalie Portman.
Oh, of
I
course.
love that
Oh my
movie.
God.
What's amazing is that I wasn't actually I'm only in the director's cut, but somehow by some sort of clerical error,
You still get money.
I'm still in
He
the
still
credits.
gets money.
That's tight.
I'm in the
Tight.
credits. So the director's cut and the non-director's cut, I'm in the credits as
That's
ball
amazing. As a what?
boy. Ball boy.
Ball boy.
What's amazing though is that in the theatrical version, there is a kid with a ball, and it's not me. But he's not credited in the regular version. So somewhere out
That's
there,
better.
He got screwed.
I'm on a dartboard in this person's room.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's
That's so funny.
just trying to
Poor
track me down.
kid.
And yeah.
Well,
Wow.
here he is, Alex
The
Deason.
producers are like, a kid is a kid is a
He
kid.
takes credit for other
100%.
people's
I
work.
don't
Please welcome
care.
Alex Deason.
Exactly.
Okay, so then you got into music
Yes.
because you're
Well, I was
like
into music
done
at the
with
same
acting.
time, but the acting was like one. It
It was like
one of
getting in the
those-
way.
It was, but it was like one of those things where I didn't have to. I didn't have to
You
try
have to
very
try
hard.
very hard.
My man. Just like me at fucking.
That's right.
Hell yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and I just kind of didn't want to do it the whole time, and then I figured eventually I would like doing it, and then I kind of liked some of the people that I met, but then
The people in music are just way cooler.
Oh yeah, that's so true.
Yeah,
I
I
always
guess
wanted
so.
to be a musician for that reason.
so I kind of just stopped doing it, and then I because I was doing both the things at the same time, but one of them was as a child actor, and the other one was just as a dickhead with a guitar. So then I just got to be a full-time dickhead with a guitar.
That's
Hell
tight.
yeah.
That's
He's really
tight.
good at
Did you ever
that.
play Guitar Hero?
Yeah, but it's really hard.
Right? Isn't it frustrating for guitar
Got
players?
nothing to do with yeah.
Nikki talking like she plays guitar. I love
No,
it.
I play Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
really
what I
good
love.
at it. I'm like expert level at it, but then
I love it.
guitarists that I know are really good at guitar cannot play that game for shit.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so
Good.
funny to me because I'm like,
Yeah,
I
'cause you-
fucking rule at this
yeah,
game.
you're crushing.
Yeah, you win.
I'm crushing those strings.
Yeah.
I play guitar.
Those
Parenthetically,
buttons,
hero.
really.
Yeah, yeah,
those
those
buttons.
buttons.
True,
Crushing
trigger,
the
You don't
trigger
stand a
button.
chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how about some early influences?
It was all punk rock stuff.
Okay, me
because
too.
that
I
was
love
the stuff
punk.
that I could play.
Blink 182.
Sick.
Blink
No,
182.
no.
And Blink
Absolutely.
182.
Shut up! It's not Blink 182. Don't. Was
it
it
was-
Blink 182?
It was
Wait a
like
That would be kick-ass if it was.
It is
I was
Blink
like, wait, what's
182,
funny
yeah.
about that? I
Insulting.
love Blink.
I do
my
like
bad.
Blink
I
182.
liked their early stuff.
Yeah,
I
I
like
had a
Blink
poster in my dorm room.
You did? Mm-hmm. Oh, what a fangirl!
Was it because he was hot or because you liked the music?
I think
I
it was
remember-
just I really liked the picture.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, yeah.
I know a lot of people who are like, well, Tom was really hot back then.
Yeah, he was real cute.
That is true.
Yeah. See?
And now he's all a part of Aliens and shit.
Yeah, he's
I like
super
that.
into alien
Oh, yeah.
theory right now.
I dig it.
I do too.
Hell
I
yeah.
love that
We
shit.
should have him on.
I would love
Talk
to.
about aliens.
Yeah, we
Absolutely.
can leave and
Or
we
yeah,
can
I would
can
just
you
love
leave?
that,
Yeah, I mean,
actually.
this is important.
Are you guys into alien shit?
I am.
Me
He's
too.
not.
Oh, I
Oh my
love this
God.
stuff.
I'm not into it. I I don't have time.
Are you too cool for ancient alien astronaut theory, bud?
I guess I might be.
Yeah,
Wow,
he just
that's
doesn't
too
have any
bad.
time.
Hey,
He's
did you know when
yeah.
they built the pyramids, there was no way that they could build that with the tools that they had at the time, bud?
That's right.
That sounds
Bud?
See?
fascinating.
So interested.
Did you know you can't even fit a piece of paper between two of those stones? And that they use machine precision tools? See?
Is this all on the History Channel?
Hey, this
Hell yeah,
isn't
something different
this
now.
isn't an alien topic.
No, I
This
know,
is
I
an
know. Okay, I'm getting
advertisement
carried
for
away.
Gaia.com.
We'll talk about it.
Is that what
can
it's
Yeah,
talk
called?
we
It's
about
will
called
talk
Gaia?
about it.
No. That's where you would
We'll
watch
have you
this
back.
stuff.
We'll do an aliens only episode.
Yes.
No bullshit rock stuff allowed.
Right.
So okay, early influences. Punk
Aliens.
rock. Yeah.
Yeah, punk rock, but like
No
like
Effects?
No, none of that's like Fugazi, like Minor
Okay.
Threat, Right to Spring. So it was always a little bit weird. And then from there, I remember there's this song by Fugazi called Reclamation off an album. I believe it's on the album Steady Died of Nothing. And it was like such a crazy thing because it wasn't fast and angular like other Fugazi stuff. It was like kind of groovy. But the guitar comes in with this like it's like this and then the other one comes and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be some
Yeah.
and then the bass comes in and it's like and I was like, that blew my mind. And I think
I'm in the
from
weird
there-
Like a
pitch right now.
magic trick.
I'm like, you're pitching me
That's
a
how
sound.
music is. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how
yeah,
music
yeah.
is pitched.
Sound,
Yeah.
yeah.
Gotcha.
But and then when I heard that, I was like, oh, maybe I should try to like think more rhythmically or more like, bigger than just playing, chords and guitar that are fast and then that became like a jumping off point into weirder stuff like I don't know, like weirdest. I can't think of any of it right now.
Paul Abdul.
Yep.
Well, it ended up with you getting signed to Epic Records, which is pretty
But
crazy.
that was a weird 16-year tangent that didn't make a lot of sense when you look at the influences
Yeah.
of my musical career.
But what's that day like? It's like Epic's calling and they're like, "Yo, we want to sign you."
It
Is
was
that like pretty
at
nuts?
that point this was this band, the Damnwells, that I was in for a long time. At that point, we had been courted by so many record labels that it was like at that point like a formality that truthfully none of us were really terribly excited about. We felt like if we didn't do it, then our management would probably jump ship or
Gotcha.
our lawyer or our booking agent or whatever.
So it was one of those things where it was like, we kind of have to do this and we can't wait to get out of this.
Well, it was kind of like, we have to do this. Can we be excited about this? Sure. Yeah. Okay. We're excited about it.
gotcha.
And then we all kind of like hive-minded it.
Were you excited about it because other people, like other bands that you knew around you, were also getting signed?
Yeah, that's also true because other bands from New York were getting signed to major record labels that were not really like pop bands. They were like, rock bands like The Strokes or
Yes.
or there's another band called the Moldy Peaches and Interpol, and there's a lot of bands like getting signed, so it was kind of like a formality. But we didn't really sound anything like that, although that was the music that I liked. It's very odd.
Well, you mean their music is the music that you liked,
Yeah, I was definitely
but you
more
didn't
of a...
sound like music that you liked, is what you're saying?
Not really.
That's funny as hell, man.
Yeah.
So you were kind of a slave to what other people were doing in the band, in a way.
No, it was all me. I'm the
Oh,
only
I
one
see.
to blame. It was like in college at one point there was a weird opening in punk rock or post-punk music where folk music came in. And it was
yeah.
like in the late 90s. And there was I think really it was Beck had put out, after Odelay had put out a record that had a lot of folk songs on it. There was this song called Asshole, and there were other really cool kind of punky folk, punk lyrics with folk music. And so the people that I was in college with were playing this music, and then I started playing that music. And then I think as that music finds its way out into the world, it just sort of gets all the punk rock elements to it eventually just get sort of winnowed away. And then you're
Okay.
just left with a folk thing with drums and bass guitar. Okay, now you're just Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, which is cool, but you're not as cool as that, so you just wind up becoming the Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
So that was kind of unfortunate. But then, I started going back to that, and I made an EP.
What's an EP?
It's
Extended
extended
play.
play. which
Okay,
is,
I don't know shit about any
Deal
of
with
this.
it.
I'm just trying to help everybody understand.
I actually don't know what extended play
Well,
means.
actually,
I just know this
EPs
extended
are-
play. As
Yeah.
EPs are
Tiny
now
play.
misleading because
Yeah.
they are actually what was left over from the long play, but now EPs come before long play. It's confusing.
But it's almost like these are my scraps.
Kind of. That's what EPs originally were.
I love it when an EP is really good too. It's like my scraps are even fucking good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your scraps are real good.
Well, these weren't scraps. These were like 4 EPs that I put out in a year because I wanted to tour by myself, and the Damn Wells was like in between records, and then I went back to like making like kind of punky, folky music. There was a song called Death Metal and Disco, and then another song called Somebody Else's Drugs. Was that what it's called? Other People's Drugs.
Other People's Drugs.
So then I tried to go back to it, and then
You try to go
there,
back to the sound that you liked.
Yeah, I tried to go back to like what was inspiring about the bridge between punk rock music and folk music. And then when I went back to the band, after writing this EP that had kind of these folky, punky songs on it, then I went back to the band, and then it was real confusing because I wanted to continue down that way, which we kind of did with the last record, but I mean, at that point we had been 15 years into it, and I mean, I'm still very good friends with all the guys in the Damn Wells, but we were just tired.
Yeah.
You know?
Is it like a collaborative energy that you just lost, or is it like a? Yeah, okay.
For sure, yeah.
Because you start getting other interests.
Well,
and
some people
life
just
happens. And
not aged out of it, but like they just had other things to do. Like one of the guitar players ended up working in like green energy.
Okay.
He needed a
Which
paycheck.
is rad, but
It's rad. Yeah, we all need it.
yeah.
California 2045.
There you go.
And then Stephen Terry was like
he was opening restaurants and doing weird stuff.
yeah, opening restaurants and owning
Sold
llamas
out,
in
dude.
Virginia.
Yeah.
I just heard sold out. Are you kidding me, bro? You opening restaurants, bro? That's not punk rock, bro.
So Amber, when did you come into the picture with this?
Well, you were an actress first.
yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did do choir in high school. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I was part of
Nice.
the Choralier troupe.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty.
You an alto?
I was like almost a soprano, if I wanted to be.
Wow.
What's the next one down? I don't know this shit.
But yeah, me either.
Us neither. We're just throwing out
I'm just
buzzwords.
Yeah.
chucking references at you.
Me too.
I'm chucking references at you like they're punk bands. They're
love it.
like alternative punk bands.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I was in a band like 5 years ago.
You were in a band like 6
6 years ago now. 6 years ago now. It was bad. I'm not even gonna name it. It wasn't bad. It was fun. I did find my love for like being in a band because since I was in Choraliers, I thought that I would take this now seriously. And then I met this guy who was actually a really fan of the Damn Wells, not knowing that I was going to eventually date the guy. That was an accident that I didn't want to happen, but it did. I'm real happy about it. And I think so. Yeah, I was in a band, and he would come to the shows. And since I like loved the Damn Wells, we're dating now, and then he's coming to my shows, and I'm just embarrassed because I knew that this shit sucked. But
I didn't think it sucked.
well, you're very kind.
He thought the Damn Wells sucked, dude.
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
you just
that's
listen
right.
to him?
And then I guess since you knew I sang, I just kind of started singing back up on your things. He would be working on a song, and he'd be like, "Hey, babe, come over here and just like sing this part." I'm like, "Okay, la 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 la," and then
Then we went on tour.
we went on tour. I sang back up on tour, and then while we were on tour, the first one or the second one, I don't remember which one. He's like, we should start a band, and I was like, that's a really bad idea. He's like, no, I think that you should sing, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do that.
And then I had my computer open in the van, and I came up with
And he
an
made,
album
like,
cover.
album covers and
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's always the way to
That's how you
get
sell
somebody in
something.
a band.
You
Yeah.
gotta have them visualize it.
yeah, and he
Totally.
put my face on the cover with the name, which was an old name that he thought of that I thought was terrible. And then he's like, well, if you want to do this, we have to think of a band name. And I was like, well, I'm not going to be a part of this band if that's the band name that you want. So he's like, well, then you better come up with something better. And then I guess we got back from tour and just wrote an EP in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Recorded.
Recorded an EP of 6 songs, yeah.
in
Why
2
didn't
weeks.
you want to do it originally?
Well, because I love this man, and I
You're
didn't
like,
Oh, getting
want
creative with somebody.
anything to tear. However, I've always wanted to be creative with my partner, and that was something that I did want to do with Alex. I just didn't want it to tear
Right.
the relationship
If
apart.
it
but-
didn't work.
If it didn't work, but it
Right.
actually works really beautifully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that too because I think, with us, we got into working a business together, and we do a lot of stuff together. We host together, we act together, we do a lot of stuff together.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, a lot of people told me, I don't know if they told you, but like for me personally, like a lot of people warned me against it. They're like,
Yeah.
they're like, you don't want to get into business with your significant other. Trust me, it's no good because like then you'll fight more and then it'll ruin the personal life and all this
Damn, I
stuff.
never get these kind of doubters. I wish I
Oh,
got
I
these kind
got
of
so
doubters.
many.
Wow.
So many people that said that they trust me from experience. Like I went into business with my wife, worst thing I ever did.
These are like movie trailer moments that I never get.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you can never do it, pal.
Yeah.
You're never going to be able to be successful. You know, like I love
Yeah.
that shit.
Well,
you just
never
you're
got,
proving them wrong.
yeah, you just got to go with your gut. But have you guys? I mean, obviously, it's great for you guys, right?
Yeah, it actually
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
We do work really well together, but we're both kind of like, I don't want to say alphas, but we both have like our opinions
Yeah.
and stuff
Same.
like that. But I am not as knowledgeable about music as he is, so I can't really fight the issue. But it's not that we fight, but we do have like, creative arguments about like maybe how something should be done. And sometimes you win and sometimes I win, and it's not like a thing. It's just
It's all to
I don't
make
know.
the group better. Like
Yeah.
both of you want
Yeah.
what's best for the group.
And I also
Yeah.
kind of feel like, I guess because I've been doing this a long time and she hasn't been doing it as long, I don't think that doing it a long time has benefited me tremendously as far as being able to do what I want to do. So whenever we're working together, I try, I think Amber will become maybe a little like self-conscious or not confident or tentative with like a certain part of the song. And I just feel like what she does instinctually is something that you can't learn, right? And what I wanted to do instinctually when I was like 20 or 21 or even earlier was something that I kind of like learned myself out of. I learned out of being able just to do like what came to mind. Like, oh, I can't play the chord that way. I should just play it like this. Or I can't, that melody doesn't make any sense. I should probably try to, square it up and make it simpler. Whereas she will come out with like melodies or ideas or lyrics that like an academic would be like, would say, well, we should, make sure that the tenses match or some stupid thing like that. And I just feel like none of that is important because what really comes out when Amber's performing or on stage or on a recording is like this just, I don't know, it's this unnameable, super interesting, raw, unrefined
Jesus Christ, this
thing.
guy's in fucking
I
love
know.
right here, bro.
I know. I'm like, I didn't pay you that much money.
I mean,
That
this
was
man
great.
is in love.
That was great.
Oh boy.
But that's the part I think that, if anything, our combo, our duo, or whatever it's called,
Relationship?
benefits.
I
Yeah,
do love
relationship.
combos.
That's a good
Pretzel
one.
and cheese.
I think it benefits way more from her end of it than mine because I know how to produce records. I know how to make records. I can do that for anyone. If you wanted to make a folky record or a
Christmas album?
or a Christmas album,
We've
done it.
Oh my
We
God.
wanna
All
do
the
it.
hits, yeah, all the
We
big, all the
want to
big
do all
hits.
the hits.
And I've written songs for other people too, so I can get into other people's minds.
Justin
and try
Bieber
to,
for one.
But that's not interesting.
Wow.
Did you write Baby?
That's not
I
interesting.
did not.
Wow.
You didn't write Baby?
No, I did not.
Damn. Which ones did you write?
It was a song called "Take You."
Take You.
Yeah,
by
and I wrote
Bieber.
it with like 8 other people.
That's
so.
tight, man.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Do we love it?
Do we love it?
Yeah. Do we like it? Is it a good
Yeah.
song? Oh,
Do you
cool.
like Bieber?
Well, I actually think that
Do you like
Baby's
the
a great song. I'm an asshole, dude. I don't give a fuck. I think that song is
I don't
dope.
like Baby, and I don't. The song I wrote is okay, but the stuff later on that he started doing with Skrillex and Diplo, I think that stuff is way better.
Oh, I have to catch up on that.
So good. What's the one about?
Yeah, I'll
like,
catch up on that too.
what's the one about? What is it called? Yeah, it's obviously very memorable.
I have not been following Justin.
I haven't either.
Like
This was like
Since
3 or
the
4
Baby
years
era.
ago.
But
I
I'm
watched
excited
his
to catch up.
documentary, but during the Baby era.
Yeah.
You watched the documentary?
Oh yeah, we
There's-
all,
Oh,
we
yeah,
all
we
watched
all
it
watched
as a
it.
group, and this was before we were dating when we
Yeah.
were just friends.
Oh.
And
When I
yeah,
was just eye fucking you.
A baby
yeah,
date.
totally. No, we were both in relationships, but yeah, we went to the movies as a group.
Oh my god, I can't
And
believe
we all
you saw that
watched
together.
it kind of like ironically, but like
At the end, you loved
Yeah, it was
it.
we were
touching.
like,
Yeah,
It was like,
"Hey,
man, this kid was good at drums. Who the hell knew?
Yeah.
You watch him
I
beating the
really
shit out
hope
of
he
these drums,
doesn't-
you're like, whoa, man.
I really hope he continues being a good boy.
Yeah. No, he didn't.
Man.
Then he like killed someone with
Propaganda.
his Lamborghini or something like 3 weeks later, and we were like, oh, never mind. I think we're okay. Yeah.
Moving on.
He was like racing or something. He did something stupid as fuck, and I was like, oh, never mind. I was like, oh, the drummer kid's gone. That's too bad.
The
But then
drummer
you
kid.
ended up working with them later, post Lamborghini era,
I think
Yeah.
no, this was pre Lamborghini era.
pre Lamborghini era.
Was it? I don't know.
I think so. It was several years
We'll
ago.
have to ask his chronicler.
Okay, yeah.
Get him on the phone?
Yeah, we'll have to. Well, they're coming on next. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys are your daily lives. You're living and working on the road mostly.
No, we work on the record label.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
they're-
gotcha.
Well, when we're on tour, we're obviously working
yeah.
from the road. But
Well, you're
yeah.
running a record label out of your apartment,
right, yeah.
which is pretty crazy.
Well, actually, I just out of our phones.
Our phones.
What's that
Yeah.
like?
I have a
What-
computer.
How do you even do that?
I don't know.
That's a really good
And
question.
by the way, when I say record label, that means like you have several artists under your banner, right?
Yes, yeah.
And you're trying to facilitate everyone listening to their stuff.
Yes, basically.
yeah, like basically just hiring other people to do this stuff that
Yeah.
makes a
Well,
record
Palo
label
Santo
run.
is one record label. That's the mothership, and I run that record label, which is owned by my two friends Sarah and
And that
Celine.
galactic headquarters is in Dallas.
They have an office.
Okay.
Yeah.
At which presumably I have a desk.
Rockin'.
But we live in LA, so we're not there a lot. But then so there's Palo Santo is the mothership, of which I'm the general manager. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then there's a bunch of labels underneath that group. It's like the Palo Santo Music Group, which includes Poor Man Records, which is
We
the
run.
record label that Amber and I own and run. And then there's another label called Hit Records, which is one of the owners' imprint. And then there's another label called
I don't know this one.
then there's like just Palo Santo Records, which is like the record label part of the Palo Santo Music Group. If
Okay.
that makes any sense.
I mean,
It doesn't make any
kinda-
sense to me.
Well, it's the thing where it's like I have a subsidiary, it's LLC underneath the thing,
Right.
and it's like that kind of thing.
It is exactly
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
yeah.
So you're not punk rock anymore. You're a businessman now, huh?
That's true. Well, I don't know. I mean, one of my favorite bands of all time, Fugazi, they own their own record label.
That's tight. Yeah.
That's actually
Discord,
pretty
yeah.
punk rock.
And
That's super
Discord
hard.
also, I
You're like,
believe
I'm going to
they,
do this shit on my own.
they also distributed other records. So, I mean, there's a long history of people in bands, Teen Beat, like those are just people who were in bands and they started their own record label and then probably just to put out their own band's records. And then
What happens when you're with somebody like with a record label that you don't agree with, or like what are those conversations?
you mean like a person at the label or an artist or what?
Yeah, a person at the label.
Just
Because like what, like for example,
tell them
why
to shut up and they
did
listen to
you
me.
open your own label rather than just being part of other people's labels?
Oh, well, because no one would put out my records.
Gotcha. So
Yeah,
it's like a
that's-
self-made shit.
Yeah.
That's like what we do with YouTube. It's like you're doing it yourself.
Right.
Okay,
So
right
Palo
on.
Santo wasn't putting out your records?
No, Palo Santo was a record label that started in like 2015 that put out almost exclusively like folky kind of
I don't
Americana
want to say
stuff.
Americana because not
Yeah.
all the artists are Americana, but it
then
started
it
out
changed.
that way.
Then I started working at the end of 2017 as the general manager, and then we kind of changed our, modus operandi or whatever.
I
that's
see.
called.
That's cool.
And then we started incorporating other band so Broken Baby was a Poor Man Records, which is our label. We were just going to put it out on our own label.
Yeah.
And then part of the deal with me becoming the general manager of Palo Santo was that they would distribute my titles from Poor Man Records through Palo Santo. I mean, it's not just like a blind distribution. I mean, we all agree, like, yeah, we're going to put this out. And then our distributor, which is The Orchard, they distribute all the records that come through Palo Santo, whether it's from Hit or from Poor Man Records or it's from Palo Santo proper.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when I came on, it changed a little bit, and then we started signing bands from Dallas, artists, and cool stuff. I mean, a lot of it, because it is artist run, is Salim Nurallah, who's one of the owners. He puts out his records, and he's in a couple other bands, and we put out those records. And then I put out some solo records, so those have gone through Poor Man, and then distributed through Palo Santo.
And when you put them through, is that like okay? Now it's through. So now where does it go?
It goes to the Palo Santo group has a PR firm that's on retainer, which is Team Claremont, who's really great. So Bill Benson, who's the PR side, and then Nelson Wells, who's the radio side. We decide as a record label what we want to, what avenues we want to send artists through. Do we want Bill to work this record to press, or is it too early? Should we just try to do some stuff on our own, reach out to blogs and people like that we have relationships with or that we know, and see if they want to review the record. And sometimes you're just building a story. You know,
Yeah, sure.
This is an artist's first record. You know, it's not going to go platinum. They're not going to get on tour with like the National. So
Yeah.
we just really need to build a story and try to get people to listen to the record.
Right.
So sometimes having a publicist go and try to pitch the record to, you know, Stereo Gum or even like something tiny.
What's
like,
Stereo Gum?
Stereo Gum is like, you know, Stereo Gum
A music
Pitchfork. It's a
blog.
music blog.
Yeah.
Oh, music blog.
Super
Yeah.
popular music blog
Okay.
of indie rock and
Gotcha.
other kinds of stuff like that.
So if it goes on there, you get eyeballs from that.
You kind of do, but
But if it's not ready for it, he's saying that.
yeah. So oftentimes, you know, Stereo Gum will say to a publicist, they've said this to Bill before, you know, this is cool, but like, there's nothing. It's too early. You
Yeah.
know, like the Spotify numbers are too low, or they don't have it. They haven't played any shows
Spotify.
yet, or they haven't
Yeah,
done.
Spotify. How's that been for things?
It's been great.
Yeah, you're loving it, right?
They're
That's
so
fantastic. They're so
good.
good.
Yeah, great service.
Mhm, great service. They pay their artists.
Yeah, I heard really
yeah,
well.
It's really
Yeah.
great.
12
it's
cents
not
a song or
insular
something?
or anything. It's very welcoming to.
That's so
Sounds like it.
great.
Sounds great. Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful.
It's great.
So Spotify really kind of earthquaked everything, huh?
Oh, it changed
The
the
internet
way that
earthquaked
people,
everything.
Yeah, yeah.
But it also changes the way that people listen to music, you know?
Right.
I mean, there are artists specifically on Spotify just to generate listens and money for Spotify. They don't tour. Like,
Yeah.
these aren't touring acts. They
But that's
aren't
fine. There's a
band-
lot of hip hop.
Sure,
hip hop
fine.
and R&B acts of the 1990s did not tour a lot, and there was no Spotify then. It's just a different culture.
Yeah.
You know, one that doesn't rely as much on touring. So now that Spotify exists, all that music has the potential to have humongous audiences, even when they're not huge artists like Bell Biv DeVoe or Boyz II Men or those
Which
artists
we were
from the
just
90s.
listening to on the way here.
Yeah, no coincidence.
Very nice. But this is how people feel about the talent show people too, right? Where it's like you're on a talent show and now you got like an instant rocket ride to success, and all the people who like tour and do all this stuff are like, "Fuck you, dude! You guys didn't earn it." You know, it's kind of like stand up where they did Last Man Standing. And it's like these guys like are already like a headliner now, and they didn't even
Yeah.
have to go work the tours.
And I
and
think
shit.
that ultimately that is a part of punk rock mentality that I think is not helpful.
Yeah.
Because
I see.
I don't think not every form of music is going to play the Soda Bar in San Diego or
Yeah.
the Troubadour in LA or the Smell downtown. I mean, you're not going to have, you know, certain artists playing venues that are equipped mostly to deal with bands that make rock and roll or some derivation thereof. So it depends on what kind of music you make. If you're in a rock and roll band, you have to play shows and you have to tour.
go out
The
and
reason
tour.
why
Yeah.
is because that's really the focus of the art is people going and experiencing it live.
Sure.
You know, there are some artists that get to do both, like get to be hugely successful touring acts as well as radio acts.
Right.
And they are rock and roll bands. And some of them don't. Some of them tour and, you know, don't sell a lot of records. There's a band called the OCs that like they do like incredible numbers all over the country and in Europe. But like, is it on sale at Walmart? No. You know,
Yeah.
is it maybe at like Amoeba? Sure. Is it at other smaller independent retailers? Yes, because that community all feeds that pipeline. But when you're a pop artist like Justin Bieber or whatever, Spotify numbers are incredibly important because that's one of your main sources of income. When you go out and tour, you're just going to play like arenas.
Okay.
And you're not going to do it, you know, 150 days a year if you're not in a record cycle. You're going to do it, you know, like Taylor Swift was just on tour, and the acts that were opening up for her were Charlie XCX, and then I can't remember who the other person was. But these are like tours that are specific to that genre of music that's going to attract people who don't normally go to shows, but will go when like,
Yeah,
you
they'll
know,
crawl for Brooklyn Glass to see Taylor Swift.
exactly.
I'll pay $50 cash parking. I'll park on a golf course and I'll
Right.
hike for 3 miles to the stadium.
People
and
love
that,
it.
And that brand,
Yeah.
Taylor Swift or whatever other pop star insert there, that was not made from touring. It was made from writing songs that have become popular and from, you know, probably licensing and a ton of other stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas a band can just keep touring and touring and touring and get a fan base, and then once you become successful in that, you know, space and that pipeline, you cap out at like, you know, I don't know, like a 2,500 seat theater or whatever. Like what the, you know, and then occasionally you get to do like War on Drugs does, where like they just played the Greek or something, or
That's cool.
you know. So there's always like those weird anomalies. But if you're a touring
But
act,
they got there by touring, right?
100%.
Oh yeah, they play.
Yeah.
They play.
We have to take an ad break. But we will be right back to talk more about this.
Today's episode of the Shit They Don't Tell You podcast is sponsored by Calm.
It's the #1 app for sleep, meditation, and relaxation, and it was even named Apple's 2017 App of the Year. So I love that we're working with Calm right now because I've been using Calm, the app, for over a year now, and I can honestly say that it's changed my life, especially in the area of anxiety. I get a lot of anxiety. I feel overwhelmed with life constantly. I wanted to meditate, but I didn't know how. It was just really hard for me to focus on breathing. And the woman who guides you through it, her name is Tamara Levitt. She's really good at, if you've never meditated before, at coaching you through just how to be more mindful and present so that when you get overwhelmed in your day-to-day life, you just are brought back to the present, and it actually helps it go away.
Yeah, but plus Calm also has a thing where they tell you sleep stories. It's like a bedtime story for grown-ups, which I think I would actually really enjoy that.
Plus, there's something really soothing about the voices that are telling the stories. It's like these people are trained to help you to sleep. And there's different kinds of stories, too. So you can pick what kind of story helps you sleep better. For me, it's more the stories that are descriptive about like gardens and flowers and like very visual. I find myself just visualizing everything they're talking about, and then all of a sudden I'm asleep and maybe I dream about that thing. Sometimes that happens.
Calm gives you the tools you need to live a happier, healthier, and more mindful life. Just 5 minutes of Calm can change your whole day. It sure has changed Nikki's.
Yep. If you head to calm.com/tellyou, TELLYOU, you will get 25% off a Calm Premium subscription, which includes hundreds of hours of premium programs, including guided meditations on issues like anxiety, stress, focus, and relationships, including a brand new meditation each day called the Daily Calm. For a limited time, Shit They Don't Tell You listeners can get 25% off a Calm Premium subscription at calm.com/tellyou. That's CALM.com/TELLYOU. It includes unlimited access to all of Calm's amazing content, and you can get started today. Calm.com/tellyou.
Calm, the #1 app for sleep, meditation, and relaxation.
All right, welcome back. And to start off the second half, we're going to play a short clip from one of the Broken Baby songs. What song are we listening to?
It's my show.
It's your show.
And here it is.
Cause it's my show. It's my show. Fill my glass to the brim with a shit Bordeaux. You wanna know my sign? Sure, it says stop, bro. No Patrick Swayze, you ain't getting no ride. I'm not looking for the time of my life. With enough candles on my cake, you can watch me blow. Cause it's my show. It's my show. Hey, yo, I got you feeling me up. Hey, yo, you got me feeling sewed up.
Welcome back to Shit They Don't Tell You podcast, the podcast with the most.
We just listened to the song. I already welcomed them back.
Oh, my bad.
Jesus. Where
That
are
was
you?
tight, by the way. Very good job. I like staring at you while I listen to your song.
Yeah,
I
I know.
was
that
hiding
was dope.
underneath the
No,
microphone.
it was good.
It was so good. Who writes the lyrics?
She does.
We both do.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Two different answers.
Yeah.
We
I don't
both
know.
do everything.
Our neighbors do.
No,
Yeah.
no neighbors.
And you do the melody stuff?
No, we all do. It's very collaborative. There's only two people there. I can't write a melody without her being like, I don't know about that. Or she
Gotcha.
can't write a lyric without me being like, I don't know about that. So it just winds up becoming 100% collaboration. I mean, when we're in the studio and I'm playing the different instruments, I will be like, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? What do you think of this? And eventually she's just like, I don't care. So I
Gotcha.
know now what to ask her. Like, I don't need to ask her about guitar tone, but I do need to ask her about like whether or not there's enough room on the snare drum mic, or whether or not there's enough room on the drums, or is it too distorted? That
What
stuff.
happens if you disagree on something? Is it like, and then you both are really digging in, and
It
it's
hasn't
like,
happened yet.
Yeah, I don't think so.
okay.
Not a hard
Wow, what a
disagreement.
dream team.
There's
Jesus.
nothing to. There's
Well,
there's
I mean,
like,
space.
perfect all the time, I guess.
tweaks. There's nothing that
Yeah.
I've been. Well, there's been times when I'm like, I don't really like this song.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then
Yeah.
eventually, if I really like the song, we'll just try to keep working at it, and then either she'll be like, you know what, I like it now, or she'll just be like, I hate this thing. And
There
then we
was
just put it away.
in one song I remember specifically, "Are You Afraid," which is on the new album that's coming out this Friday,
Ooh.
September 21st.
Okay, so by the time this podcast
It will
comes
be
out,
released.
you should
And
go check it
available
out.
where?
Yes.
Everywhere.
Go find
Nice.
it.
Yeah,
Or if you want to buy it, it's like what is it? Like,
Bandcamp.
yeah,
That's where you buy shit.
brokenbaby.bandcamp.com.
Yeah.
There you go.
Go to Bandcamp. It's
Nice.
great there.
Spotify.
Go there. I'll leave a
But
link.
there was
Or just
one
go to
song-
Spotify so I can get like bent over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
don't care.
yeah.
It's
yeah,
fine. Just-
we don't care. Just
Oh,
we
okay.
just
It's
because
convenient.
you're right. It's all about like when you're in a rock band or in a band that goes out. We just want you to come and see us play.
Yeah.
Can I ask Alexa to play it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
hell yeah. I'll be
Alexa
doing
will
that
play.
then.
Yeah. We have a friend named Alexa, so I had a little hiccup. I'm like, Alexa
Like, what,
doesn't.
you
Yeah,
know
yeah,
her?
yeah, yeah.
My bad. I probably just fucked with a lot of people at home too. Sorry about that, guys. They're like, oh
Alexa
man, my
will-
Alexa's on, dude.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. But there was one song where in the very beginning, he was like, we should do like some kind of like cool lyrics at this part. I'm like, I don't really like that at all. And that's my favorite song on the record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
I changed my
It's
mind.
also like stuff where, she'll make a mistake or quote unquote a mistake, and then it winds up becoming like, okay, we'll go back and fix that later. And then we'll move on to another part, and then we go back and listen to the quote unquote mistake, and it starts to feel like, oh, maybe that's not right, but it's better than what we had. So let's follow that. And, like some melodies were written because it was like, there was another part of the song that I happened to drag over from another part, and it was backwards for some reason, and then that became a melody, stuff.
So in a way,
like
there
Yeah.
are no quote unquote mistakes.
There
Right,
really are
no,
no,
no.
mistakes.
I think that's really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how most, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that's how most people work when they're making art,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some things that you know now after all this experience that you wish that you would have known back when you started?
That's actually really good, Alex,
There's
because
so many.
well, because you were in a touring band, like you guys went and toured hardcore, and I guess, well, the music scene is a little bit different now. But I feel like you're connecting with bands a little bit differently now than you were when you were with maybe the Damnwells or maybe when you were doing your Alex Dees and
I don't
solo
know. I'm
stuff.
pretty excited about where the Damnwells finished.
Yeah.
Because I did not want to be doing that for the rest of my life. And I was already starting to become a bit of a parody of myself in that band where it didn't really matter what I did now because people wanted to hear the songs that we had written 12 years ago.
Oh wow,
and,
you were already
and we
at that
weren't
point.
even that popular. So it was like, wait a minute. Why am I playing for 50 people, which I'm very thankful that 50 people continue to come see me play anywhere. But why am I here playing for 50 people and they're kind of talking and not paying much attention to the new songs, but then when I play the old songs, they get really excited. Now, I'm thankful that they were excited, but it'd be different if I was playing for, if it was a substantial part of my income, the damn wells.
If this is
Right.
Journey, bud,
Right.
it's like this is a microcosm for the Journey
Right.
the tour experience. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Where it's
Totally.
like no matter the fuck what, they're playing the old songs, and it's
Right.
like, hey, we're Journey, we got some new shit for you. Everyone's like, get the fuck off the fucking stage.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I
No one
want to
wants
hear
that.
the old shit.
Yeah.
Give me a small town girl in a lonely world. Give me hope in my shitty life. Right? That's all everyone wants.
That's
It's
so
true.
true.
And
Yeah.
now imagine that scaled down like,
yeah,
to
50, to 50.
or to 25 or
Yeah, sure.
13
sure.
or in someone's living room. I mean,
Yeah.
I did a lot of house shows too. It just became a burden.
That's
know?
kick ass. You did house shows. That's kick
Oh, yeah.
ass.
And the
man.
house shows
Oh,
were
yeah.
usually
That's
pretty
badass.
great. Yeah.
So you plug in an amp in somebody's like living
No, I
room.
Not
didn't plug in
even.
anything.
That's
Just a
amazing.
guitar.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That was fun most of the time. Sometimes it was a nightmare, but with all things, there was it had a lot of really cool moments.
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
in someone's house and there's no microphone or PA or whatever.
So you were a slave to your old stuff.
Yeah, but that's like, yes, but I think that's a little dramatic. It was more that I just was bored, and it wasn't like I had to keep doing it.
Right.
It was pretty simple.
How would the audience let you know that they wanted to hear the old stuff? Like, yo, play the old shit.
I think that people don't realize how kind of like shitty they can be.
Yeah, of course.
Sometimes.
Of course.
Like people have no problem saying like, "Oh man, I wish you would go back to doing that old stuff."
Which
Or-
just happened recently on an Instagram post. He posted about Broken Baby, and he's like, "Oh no, your new album that just came out." And then the guy was like, "I wish you'd just go back to playing this kind of music."
Well, people
don't care.
music is just nostalgic for people,
Yeah.
and so
Totally.
like, I mean, okay, as an Eminem fan.
Nice.
Here we go.
He just released an
diss track.
album called Kamikaze.
Yeah,
he
the
did,
diss track.
Yeah, he did
Or
a
the
diss
re-
track.
the response.
That
A
was tight.
response because he mentioned MGK on the new surprise album Kamikaze, and then MGK did a diss track, and then it was a back. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh no, we're keeping up on it.
On Kamikaze, it's like a whole album about how he's just pissed off that everybody wants the old stuff,
Right.
and that he's trying to do new stuff. And people aren't digging it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yo, I'm never going to be the old me. But as a fan, I relate on both sides because as an artist, I like respect that you need to grow and your fans should grow with you and you should have your own voice. But then as a fan, I'm like, yeah, when you play the old stuff, it like really reminds me of being in high
Yeah.
school and like
Totally.
certain
that's
times
a
that really
different-
got me through like
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
part
it
of my
is
life.
nostalgic.
Yeah.
For sure.
To me, I think that's a little bit different. Look, if you want to dance with the devil and you want to maybe have a hit, right? And you
Yeah.
want to enter into the pipeline of modern
Pop music.
pop radio,
Yeah.
then you are going to have to play those songs. Should you have a hit, you're going to, and even if it's a minor hit,
Yeah.
you're going to have to play those songs for the rest of your life. And that's what you trade, I think.
Yeah.
If Eminem, I don't know him personally. I'm sure that he would disagree with me, but
Get him on your label.
Yeah.
But if he wanted to be, an artist who is not at the mercy of pop culture, then he should have never tried to end. I mean, but then again, maybe he
you're
didn't
not
even
wrong,
try
dude.
to.
Like picking up what you're saying, like
No, he talks about that, how
When
he
you-
sold his soul all
Yeah.
the time.
as an actor, if you book a CW show,
Right.
guess what, dude? You're in fucking Green Arrow show. You're
Yeah.
in the Smallville show. Guess what, dude? You are working the convention circuit for the rest of your natural life
Yeah.
until dead, because that's part
Until
of the
you
game.
do a role where you're showing your titties and stuff.
Well, I mean, no, that's how you got the role on the CW show.
Oh.
Well, no, you had to cover them up. You're right. You have to show your titties a little bit.
Yeah, you have
later.
to do like a horror movie and like shave your head or something, right?
Yeah,
to
no,
get off that.
you always get a oneer, right? Where you do a horror movie and then and then you're like, well, I'm waiting for my next project. They're always interviewing like, oh, my next project's coming up, and then 10 years goes by, and then you're at the conventions, and they're like, and all the other people who've been working the conventions the whole time, they're like, I always knew he'd be here one day. But I've seen this all the time. You see, like there's a CW show called Supernatural, which like is watched by both teenage girls and middle-aged women. They all go crazy for
Right.
it, and they all go to the conventions, and they all want to really quickly like touch the lead character's abs, like while they're taking a picture with him. It's fucking hysterical. But this cat,
Yeah.
like, I guarantee he moved to Hollywood. He thought he was going to be in a bunch of shit. He gets the CW show, and that's tight, and it paid for his whole livelihood. But that's who he is now.
Yeah.
He's the
But
supernatural guy.
There is, I think, there's two bands I can think of. One is a band called Talk Talk, and another band is a band called Radiohead.
Oh, yeah.
The latter, which you
I heard
probably,
the first one,
yeah.
not the second one. No.
But they both had hits, right? Talk Talk had a hit. I think it's called "It's My Life," and then not to be confused with the Bon Jovi song.
Yeah.
And then Radiohead had a hit, "Creep," right? And
Yeah.
these, like, if you didn't pay attention to, kind of, I mean, Radiohead's kind of a different story. But in the 1980s, in the early 90s, if you didn't pay attention to eclectic kind of angular, weirder music, you wouldn't have known that Talk Talk made 2 records or 3 records, maybe 4 even after the record that had hit on it, that are like experimental, super weird, interesting, exciting records that are not pop in any way whatsoever. So you can do an about face and be like, cool, thanks for the hit. We're going to go back to the shed and we're going to make some weird stuff.
Right.
But I think that what happens is that you change, like your DNA changes. Like once you have a hit or once you are given success, even if it's not something that you wanted, you're like, okay, well, how do I replicate this?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
And so how do I change?
Ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So how do I change what I am to facilitate this new me?
People do that on YouTube where it's like you go viral, and then it's like, I'm going to go viral again by doing the sequel to my
Right.
video that went viral. And so
Right.
then you become the guy who just does this video forever.
Yes.
You do
It's just
doing
this horrible loop.
it's a cycle where you are now the tail wags the dog, and you are the slave to the audience that you bequeathed. You got this audience.
Yeah.
They liked your initial thing, but then you didn't maybe love your initial thing as much as they did.
Yeah, exactly. But that guy can.
Yeah. There's
I mean,
always a choice.
He can throw it out the window and just be like, you know what, I'm gonna do what I wanted to do, and people will like it or they won't. I mean, I think there's 2 Talk Talk records that I love. One's called Color of Spring, and the other one's called Laughing Stock, and they're really weird. I mean, if you were to play the hit and then play those 2 records, people would be like, yeah, I'm not into this.
Right.
But they're incredible, and they became very influential, and Radiohead always cites them as being hugely influential. And so, I mean, you just have to
And they're like, that's great, Radiohead. I live in a fucking, one bedroom.
Exactly.
I'm so glad I was influential to you. I hope I can pay my water bill this month.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But that's the price, I mean, so,
I gotcha.
between art and business.
yeah.
Yeah. So the music industry, is it as dark as everybody talks about? Has the Illuminati tried to recruit
Yeah, you
yet?
got the Illuminati talk yet?
I'm actually still waiting for
Yeah.
them
Yeah, right?
Okay.
to recruit.
Would you do it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
In a
would.
heartbeat.
Would you like to?
Yeah, I want to be part of all those weird
Beyonce
websites. Yeah,
triangle
just, like,
hands?
do weird.
And everything?
Yeah.
hide one eye.
Yeah, you have to hide the left eye.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
How much of that do you
They'll
think
recruit
is
you now.
them just being like, yo, dude, we're rich enough we can pretend like we're Illuminati now?
I would like it to be that way because I would
Yeah,
start
like
a
they're
club.
trolling.
Yeah,
Right? I would.
I think it's great.
That's the first thing I would do.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I do.
Put the fear in people. It
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
sells records.
Yeah, there's a secret society out there
It
that
actually
controls
does.
everything.
Yeah.
And
Like-
I'm part of it, and they own me. And so I'm going to put
yeah.
a triangle over my head as I do a song.
Fear not only sells records, but it elects Donald Trump. And
Do a viral hit just so you can pretend you're in the Illuminati. Start wearing Mickey Mouse ears and all that stuff.
Is that
Yeah.
what you're
that's
supposed to do?
that's the whole thing.
Did you hear about
Lady
what happened to
Gaga.
Amy Winehouse?
She
And
died.
then she died.
No. Well, yeah, she died, but
Okay.
but the real story is
Oh, okay.
so that Pepsi wanted
Shut
her.
up.
No, this is real. So Pepsi.
Is this about you? Is this another colorblind
No,
thing?
no. This is a real thing. No, so Pepsi wanted Amy Winehouse to do the ba 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 song, but apparently Amy Winehouse wouldn't play ball,
Okay.
and her
So they
manager
killed
was
her.
like begging her, like, "Yo, do the ba 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 the Joy Pepsi song.
Do the ba 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 thing.
Yeah, do it, please do it." And she wouldn't play ball, and that's what I heard actually happened. to
And they
Amy
killed her.
Winehouse. That's what I heard.
I think we should run with that.
I think it's real.
Yeah, I think that's great.
So if you're an artist and they ask you to do the ba 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 song, you just fucking do it, dude. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Well, you get your money, and then
Yeah.
you go back to doing drugs and doing your weird stuff.
Yes.
What's
exactly.
wrong with that?
Yeah, the Illuminati definitely owns Pepsi.
I think
For
so.
sure. And Britney
Unless they
Spears.
want to sponsor the show. I
There's
mean,
there's an artist that we both really like, Kil Moon, which is really just a moniker for this guy named Mark Kozelek, who's in a bunch of bands, or in this band called Red House Painters, and he makes these records now where he just talks about his life, like sings about his life,
And he's from Ohio, which I'm from Ohio, which I appreciate.
Shout out.
OH.
Yeah. OHIO.
And he just sings about his life, and he sings about getting songs licensed and all this other stuff, and like how much different stuff sucks, and
He also wrote a song about going to a college. You know how you do like those shows in colleges and universities and stuff?
Yeah.
And he basically thanked this university for having him
In the song?
In the song. The whole song was just like, this girl came up and she played piano and she was really good. And he just rambles over music. It's kind of
it was
incredible.
kind of amazing. I don't remember what my
What was
point
the point of
but
that?
Something about like
You're just shouting them out. You know what I'm saying? I hear you.
Yeah, I don't know
just
what
a
the point
huge
of that
shout out to
was.
that
I think it's
Yeah.
something about that. He
Shout out
sells
to Mark.
songs for like he gets songs licensed, probably like the instrumental versions of it because they're not going to post like his curse words and stuff on a Walmart commercial. But I think there's ways you can like sell out kind of like without doing it full on.
Yeah.
Okay,
like
Yeah.
like
See,
yeah,
that would
we'll
be
sell.
the most ideal for me. Like,
can do
I would
halfsies.
love like all the success associated with being famous, like the money and like people wanting to
house.
work with you and all this stuff. But I don't really want the fame part where
Yeah.
like people come to your house and try to like break in and like fuck
Oh,
with your
yeah,
kids
that
and
sucks.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, your
that's the-
freedom is
wait,
gone.
Wait. That's the lame part of the fame stuff. What
Yeah,
about the
I
part
know.
where it's like people trying to fuck on you and stuff? That's the cool part.
That's not the cool part. I don't
That's
want
not
that
the
either.
cool
I
part.
just want to be like a shadow man. Like I want to be like or a shadow woman, sorry.
Thank you.
I can
You
be
could
whatever
be a
I
shadow
want.
man.
I can be
Yeah,
a shadow
you
man
can
if
do
I
whatever you
want.
want. It's your show.
Exactly. It's my show. Yeah, and I just want to like, ooh, I want to be like Banksy, Like, I
yeah,
know
that's
I
it.
know her work and I like it, but I'm never gonna find her and stalk her because like I don't even know her,
Yeah.
I get it.
Well, you got to stop putting your face on things.
That's true.
yeah, that's really true.
I'm really
Yeah.
going about this the wrong
You're
way.
leading with
I
your
know.
face
My
and literally
branding's
everything.
off.
I know.
Yeah, that's too
Well,
bad.
because my face is so cute right now,
That's true. That's hella true.
It's impossible to be popular on Instagram, though, without your face.
right? Unless
Yeah.
you're like a food. If you're a food, you can get popular.
If you're, if you were
true.
a broccoli, you would kill it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or,
Or
like
a
some
particular
fancy
dish.
wedding cake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
want to
true.
be a wedding cake.
For sure.
Easy, pal.
We had cupcakes. What?
Easy.
Like I'm hitting on you
Yeah,
by
easy
wanting
about
a wedding
that.
cake?
Easy about that.
We didn't even have a wedding cake.
No, we didn't. I know
What's
that's what I'm
up with
saying.
that?
We're about to get into that again. Where it's like,
Uh-oh.
oh fuck.
What?
Why
Did
didn't
you
you have a
guys do
wedding?
People
donuts?
stole
or
our wedding
cupcakes?
cake at our own wedding.
They didn't steal it.
Yeah, they did.
No, they dropped it on the floor.
That's
Wait, what are you
stealing.
talking about?
I'm just kidding.
They dropped it on the fucking floor. My uncle was trying to carry the box and he
that's
dropped it
right,
on the
he dropped
sidewalk.
it. Well, they stole
Yeah.
our catering. How about that?
They stole our catering for sure.
Yeah.
They,
Oh
like
my
we had
God,
so
they
much to
dropped
go
your
food.
cake.
The catering people.
I think that no, not the catering people, the event people.
Oh yeah, the
at
event
the
people.
venue.
They just took all
Yeah.
our food.
No shit.
Yeah.
So we
Like
didn't
at the
get-
end of the, so
Yeah,
people
yeah.
ate and what was
Bomb,
left
Like
dude.
it
We
was
got
in the
Trejo's
corner
tacos,
the
it
whole
was
time
sick.
with like wrapped up and stuff. Like and then when we went to take it, it was
didn't.
gone. And
What,
people
ca-
were
what
like, "Oh,
catering
I saw
company
people."
was this?
This wasn't not the catering
kidding.
company. The catering company was great. Trejo's
the
Tacos.
venue hosts.
The venue hosts
Oh.
were the ones that
The
took
true
it.
deservers of the
They
blast.
took a van and they put it all in there.
Oh wow, that's dark.
Like,
Pretty
damn,
messed.
Stealing food is no joke.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
Yeah. Anyway,
So the catering world is pretty dark.
It's
yeah.
a dark world.
As is the
Everything
record
is
industry.
dark.
That's
Everything
right.
is dark.
Is there a light side of the record industry that the people don't know about usually?
I
there
don't
a
know
what?
if it's in
A
the
light
rec-
side?
no,
Like
they
a
try to
nice-
show you all the light side.
Well,
That's the
let's-
part that they.
No, but I'm
sell.
saying about I don't know, like
The light side of the record industry. It's really just the light side is just the music, I guess. Like it's not
exactly.
really any industry. All
Alright, so
what's the dark
industries
side?
make everything
Oh, you mean
shitty.
like-
The dark side's all the politics and shit.
and the pills and the all
and
the
the
cool stuff no one
sacrifices,
talks
the
about.
human sacrifices.
I think it's mostly like, business majors hiding under desks, and then someone is like, "Should we sign this kid? I don't know. Does anyone else want to
what
sign
do their
him?
numbers look
You know,
like?
how many views do you have on YouTube?
Yeah, how many Spotify followers
I
do
don't
they
know.
have?
Do you think we should sign him? Well, I hear this other label's going to sign him. Are you sure? I'm going to call him and ask him if they're going to sign him. You going to sign him? I don't know. You going to sign him? I don't know. Is anyone else talking about it? I don't know. Let's go find out.
So then that's why the blogs come into play.
or that's just
That's
when.
why you're trying to
don't
work that
know.
angle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that part's boring.
Ugh. Why
sounds
can't we
like
just
everything
why can't we
else,
just create
basically.
art,
It
man?
is. Well, that's what it is. It's like the only thing you can do is just keep creating stuff that you want to listen to, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
not
so
really.
true.
We're not in the pop game.
Yeah, I don't have.
So-
I think the way that major record labels run is, I don't even know if I have an opinion about it. They seem to be doing a good job. I don't think that we have an opinion about it. I mean, we're not on a major record label, and in all seriousness, would probably never ever be on one. Not because we don't want to be, but if someone from a major record label wanted to put out our music, I think I'd be more suspicious than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, really? Have you heard what we sound like?
Why?
Right.
Or maybe, I don't know, maybe things change. No one,
We were looking for something
Is
new.
there a pride in that where it's like, and I really mean this in a genuine sense. It's like, is there a pride in like, we know that our sound is not going to be popular
No, I don't know. Do you think there is?
or mainstream? Or is it like you're afraid of that? Like you don't want to sound like those
afraid.
people do? No, you know what I'm saying though? Where it's like,
No.
I don't want to sound like those people, like that type of song
It's
or
just so
that.
cookie cutter.
Well, pop is such a it's such a cookie
Yeah.
cutter type of sound. It's like
Yeah.
there's no real experimentation.
it's like a formula that, like,
in
if you
pop.
do bop bop bop, then we'll sell X amount of records or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, okay, if you're willing to play ball and do bop 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 instead of your own thing that you like create and want to be like funky with, like you can't just like do an idea that you came up with in your head. You have to follow this formula.
I
So
think
that's
there's only
like-
so much you can do with pop. So it's like, that's boring. Pop is boring.
Yeah.
It's hypnotic in this way that's just like
Illuminati. That's why they. That's
right.
why they got it because, yeah,
There it is.
they can
Yep.
hypnotize
That's
people
eye.
through the music.
Good job.
Yeah.
What are the biggest challenges, like on a day-to-day basis, like between the band and running the labels? Like, what's like the biggest challenge, like that you're just annoyed with? You're like, ugh.
Getting people to listen to the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is challenging because there's times. I mean, nowadays you have to be on all streaming platforms.
Yeah.
That's
So if you're a
brutal.
band, you're on everything. So when someone says like, "Oh, where can I listen to your music?" It's like on Spotify. "Oh, are you on iTunes?" Yeah. We're fucking everywhere. Like, and because you have to be, and you have
Yeah.
to manage all these things, but it's still so hard to get people to just click
Yeah.
something.
Right.
It has to have has to come with a really pretty picture or some
like our
weird
world.
narrative.
Yep.
Like it's just clicking because
Our
we're
world is
so inundated with so much
There's
stuff
so
and
much,
so many details.
so much
and
media.
It's actually trigger. It's everywhere, but it's nowhere.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really, that's
It's-
totally true, and I think that's the most cogent explanation of it. We're fighting algorithms, we're fighting all kinds of things,
Yeah.
not to mention all the other crap that's out there, including us.
I just relate so much to this shit because
Yeah.
this is exactly what the
That's
YouTubers'
exactly how we
experience
feel.
is.
Yeah.
It's how I
So
think
interesting.
everybody feels in every kind of different industry, no matter what you're doing. It's like it's very easy to get your work out there, supposedly, but now you have like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter having these algorithms that require you to actually pay money to get in order to be seen by the people that are already following you.
Right, right.
So it's kind of counterintuitive and it's counterproductive.
Which is fine. I mean, if I owned
Sure, it's fine,
Instagram,
but-
I would do that. I'd charge people to get their product placed in someone's
not nice.
timeline.
But it's like you have to hire a whole
Yeah.
person to like manage all that.
Yeah.
Because there's so many platforms.
Yeah, it's its own
coming out all the
industry.
time.
But that I think is why it actually kind of it brings you back to like the community that you are in. I think, like Los Angeles music scene, like or who do you identify with in what circles and stuff, and finding bands to play with. And
Is there a community
creating
still,
these
or
connections.
has that changed a lot?
Oh yeah, there's
think it's
there's
gone yeah.
there's a great community. There's like a great community of punk rockers in LA making great punk rock music, and which I would have never thought to say because I always think punk rock is East Coast, but no, it's
Oh,
everywhere.
really?
I mean, I always thought that because I'm from Ohio. So
I guess I just
kinda-
grew up here, and I
Oh,
grew up in
yeah.
Santa Barbara, and it's just all punk rock. It's
Yeah.
like Lagwagon, NoFX, like
Yeah,
you know,
I guess it just depends
Noise
on
for a Name. Like it's just
Right.
everyone came out from our town. And it's like a little beach town,
Yeah.
and so it's like it's just very artist
I'm
friendly.
from San Diego, Blink
But
comes
I
up
it,
never-
there.
it
Oh,
is
yeah.
artist friendly. There's
Yeah.
a lot of communities
Like,
that
mostly just
support
Blink.
each other because you just like you go and play shows together, and
Yeah.
there's people that love music still, and
I
so
always
you can
think
yeah.
underground hip
You
hop
can
when
beat
I
the
think
algorithm
of
that
East
way.
Yeah.
Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
But I think that
yeah.
but that the way that underground hip hop worked on the East Coast, especially like in the '90s and in the early aughts, like that is exactly how. That's basically the model of punk rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That just it's this is what we have, and we're gonna go do it here. And if you want to come see it, come to the show, and then people would have these experiences, or they'd you'd go to like see rap battles and stuff
Yeah,
like that, and it
yeah.
was like insane. I mean, it was amazing. And so I think that the challenge of a lot of record industry, the challenge of the record industry trying to make that music popular is trying to figure out a way to take it out of that space,
Right.
and then into a more commercially viable space to sell a lot of it. And I think that going back to your question about whether or not it's a point of pride because we would most likely never be in a major record label,
Yeah.
is it's more that it's the question doesn't really have an answer because there's no real way for us with what we do to feel like it could be commercially viable without having to sacrifice everything that it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Other people are willing to sacrifice what it is, or the marketplace is willing to make way for whatever it is that you're doing because it's so cool or so hyped or so, like the Yeah, like it's so of the moment that it can't be denied.
Yeah.
Or what Nirvana was when that record came out in '91. It was
Yeah.
like it just was. There was a thing going on, and people heard it was coming, and then all of a sudden, boom, it came, and all of the stuff that was clogging up the airways, that just made room for it.
Right.
So that you can do it that way, but 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have to shave off the parts of you that are edgy, or buff the parts that are edgy to make it more accessible. And that's, lots of people do that, and I think that's great for them. It's just not something that, especially now, after I was in this band for so long, and we were always having to face the eventual consequence of, if we wanted to be successful, we were going to have to, play ball in some way.
Yeah.
Write a hit.
We're going to have to write a hit. We're on a major record label.
And they would
That's
tell
just-
you that, right? They're like, yo,
100%.
write a hit.
Yes.
They're like, use the algorithm and write a hit? Or are they like,
No, they're just like, we need a hit.
okay.
We want to sell a million records.
Yeah.
You just have to have something catchy and something
Yeah.
mainstream.
And so that makes makes a person crazy. And so I was in my 20s. We're all younger than we are now, but and so you just become like this like angry person who rejects everything.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that's very dangerous. You don't want to reject everything. If someone says something, like I have a friend who makes pop music, and I played him some Broken Baby stuff early on, and I trust him, and he's a good friend of mine. And he had a couple comments about how maybe you should try this, maybe try this, try this. If that had been 15 or 10 years ago, I would have been like, fuck you, dude. I'm not changing
Yeah.
anything.
And by the way, dude, fuck you, by the
Exactly.
way, too.
And,
Yeah.
and also,
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah, I was that
Never
way
working
too,
again.
man. Oh God, I was
Yeah.
just had my head up my own ass about
Yeah.
like my own craft, where it's like, oh,
not anymore.
comedically, no, fuck
Well,
no, I
there
don't
you
care.
go. That's what you've learned. I guess what you asked earlier.
Yeah,
if-
some
if
shit
you
they
wish,
don't tell you.
If you wish what you know now,
Yeah.
then something.
Yeah, for sure
It's
though.
the stuff that you wish you would have known.
And it's such
then.
a helpful
Yeah.
thing, by the way, to learn to not be like this like fucking
asshole.
crazy asshole artist person.
Yeah.
Well, everything's so precious when you're younger
Yeah.
because you take hold of it and you're like, this is mine. I'm
I used to think
creating this,
making
but-
money was like the shittiest, most sellouty thing you could do. And
Yeah.
now I'm like, what? Like, who the
You're
fuck
like, I
thinks
need
that?
the money.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like, it's only made my life better
Everything's
having money.
expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just not, but it's just, I know it's just so cool though. Like, it's like, oh, it's cool to be like, hey, the man came to me earlier and said like, hey, you want money? And I said, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
Yeah.
what's cool to me
Yeah.
then, right?
Yeah,
So,
totally.
but now I'm like, the man came to me earlier and I had a meeting with the man and then I tried to get the man to buy my thing and then like, I hope it went well. Like, that's how it is now. You know what I'm
know.
saying?
Yeah.
I know.
It's so funny the difference like from now to then. Like I
Yeah.
feel like I'm talking to myself in a way, like talking
You
to you
are.
about
Yeah.
You
this
guys
shit.
look exactly alike as well.
Right,
Exactly.
or like the mirror image.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is you as YouTubers.
It's just the same kind of jam because I came
Yeah.
up in the comedy world doing all UCB and IO and stuff,
Same.
and I was doing stand up and I was trying to like
Oh,
just
man.
be original and all this shit, and then it's just now I'm like no, like I don't care.
I should have done what I'm
I
doing
should-
now.
yeah,
years
I
ago.
wish I was like this smart to just do things because I don't know, because I know that they could work.
Yeah.
Like, rather than just
Yeah.
doing things because only I will like it.
Well, doing things that works, doing things that work that also don't sacrifice your voice.
Yeah.
Finding that balance is
But
always the tough part.
But I always wanted like, oh, I want my fellow UCB people to be able to watch this and go like, Steve is good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rather
Yeah.
than like,
Totally.
That's a dark place.
yeah, it's a dark place, especially because most of those cats that I know of are
They
still
don't
there.
care about you. They
don't
care
give a
about
fuck.
you going to their show and saying they are good.
No. In
Yeah.
fact, most improvisers don't want to go to other people's shows because all of it kind of sucks to watch.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
Nobody
live.
is thinking that.
I know.
Everyone is thinking, I want to do a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
And then I
that-
see all of them on commercials, so I'm like, well, we all know how that works.
But then every once in a while, if you keep doing what you're doing, I mean, this is the part I haven't figured out. So the shit that I still don't know
Yeah.
is that, okay, how does someone who does a band or an artist or an actor or whatever do exactly what they want to do and it never has to change? They never have to make any allowances for the marketplace. Somehow what they do is so,
Game changing.
yeah, it's so like other
Yeah.
Oh.
and exciting that everyone makes way for them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think I wasn't sure that existed until the rise of Tyler Perry, and then I was like, he really likes it. And I watch him in interviews, and I'm like, oh no, he really does like it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think it's a blend of like the Transformers mentality. It's like I'm making something that everyone loves, and guess what? I love
do
it too.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's like a perfect harmony, like
Yeah.
of those two things working in sync.
But it always started with him probably not really compromising. He's like, this is what I love to do,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to keep doing it. Didn't he live in his car or something
yeah,
like that?
yeah.
Like he just kept doing it. And-
Exactly. And I'm not better than him. I just don't personally like it. And that's
Right.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm not but me 10 years ago was like, I'm better than him. I'm smarter. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh yeah, comedically he's got nothing. It's
Yeah.
like, oh Jesus, dude, really? Just fucking calm down. Like more people know who he is than you. Like
Yeah.
so just relax. Just
Yeah.
it's okay. It'll be
It's
all right.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like an angry YouTube.
Everything's
commenter.
okay.
Oh yeah, dude.
Everything's okay. Should we hold hands?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
All right.
love
Well,
it.
we are nearing the end of our show today. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
This
do
was
a thing.
fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
First of all, where can people find you?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Oh, sorry.
Right?
Spotify, iTunes,
Broken
Apple
Baby.
Music,
Broken Baby on Spotify.
BrokenBabyBand.com, Instagram, your mom's Instagram, my mom's Instagram. Where
Love it.
else?
Love it.
Probably my mom's
Twitter.
Instagram.
Yeah, there you go.
Facebook.
Yeah.
What
And it's just
streaming?
Broken Baby on all mediums?
Yeah.
think
Broken
it's like-
Baby Baby.
Sometimes it's Broken Baby Baby. No, it's always Broken Baby Baby, but the website is brokenbabyband.com.
Just to confuse it a little bit.
Yeah.
And when this
Make
releases,
it work
you
for it.
have a new album out.
Yeah.
September
Self-titled.
21st.
Hell yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So
And it's
go,
called
go
self-titled.
download that.
No, it's just literally self-titled.
Oh, that's tight. I like that.
Yeah, although we should have named it
You
self-titled.
should have. That's actually pretty
Oh my
good.
God, we should have, and now
It's
I'm
like
really
Broken
bummed.
Baby presents self-titled. That's pretty good. It's pretty damn good.
So we do this thing at the end called Final Thoughts. So it's just like your last final thought to wrap everything up.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. It could be silly.
It could be,
could be real
just a
silly.
thought that encompasses you as an individual and a human being.
Just something to really
no
like
pressure.
let the listeners
Well,
walk away
actually,
with.
you know what?
Yeah.
Well, Laurie Anderson, you know Laurie Anderson?
No.
She was married to Lou Reed, but she's a creative performing artist. She's like a musician, and she created some instruments and stuff like that. Well, something.
She
created instruments?
Well, she created a way
tight.
for her instrument to sound different than
It's like
everybody
she made the
else's.
That's
xylophone. It's like,
cool.
oh shit.
Dude, one time I watched this guy play piano where he opened the piano and like played it like a guitar.
Yeah, prepare piano.
Okay.
yeah.
But she always said, or she said in an interview, if you're stuck, just do the worst that you possibly can.
Oh, that's cool.
like that.
I like that. It gets you out of your perfectionist
Yeah.
head.
Just throw the shit out.
Yeah, I love that.
Now I have a final thought. I think it's two-pronged. One is I never learned anything from being successful. Now, that may also be because I was never very successful. But anytime I had any success, it never helped me. It only distracted me. So I think if you can have a long run of like just enough success to keep you alive, then I think you'll stay on course. And the only way to continue to do that is discipline. You just have to we were talking about this before we went on the air.
Thank you. Because we are on the air.
We are on the air.
Thank you.
Is that the only difference between, I think, like someone who's successful and someone who's not successful, when you break it down, is just discipline.
Yeah.
If you can write, if you're a writer and you can figure out like a couple hours or half an hour or 15 minutes to write every single day, then eventually you will become objectively good at it. You know, it's like
Right.
that 10,000
Absolutely.
hours.
10,000
Yeah, 10,000
Absolutely.
hours.
I believe that.
And I think that with our band, we're doing it all the time, you know, so, and we're constantly thinking about it and talking about it. And
And you enjoy it, right? Mm-hmm. That
Absolutely.
helps so much.
It's so much fun.
Oh
that
my
was
God.
actually gonna be my final thought. It's just like find the shit that you actually like doing,
Yeah.
and that you would listen to yourself or watch yourself. In our case, making videos.
Yeah.
It took me a couple. I just feel like it's been recently, like when I started learning that and incorporating it, because I used to just everyone's like, you got to keep up with whatever's trending on YouTube, and it's so
Hang
draining.
myself,
And
yeah.
I hated myself, and I hated what I was doing, and I just hated life, and I was just so mean and like bitter, and I was very consistently doing things that I didn't like, and yeah, it's just like at the end of the day, like, who are you doing it for?
Yeah.
If you, let's say something catches off of something you didn't like, do you want that success that you have
Right.
to keep repeating forever? Now you are stuck in it, but you're successful, but you're stuck in it.
Yeah.
So
It's not worth it.
I would rather be less successful at something I really like
Amen.
than be super successful.
And I know a couple people who have become successful, and I'm like, do you still like doing that thing that made you successful? And they're like, yeah, I do. And I think that's
success right
that's
there.
someone who's
Yeah.
like kind of dug in and did what they
Yeah.
love. Yeah.
That's awesome.
My final thought is that we are all in a big giant fucking ball that is hurtling through the fucking eons of space. All of us trying to project meaning onto something that has no meaning.
Amen.
And so all we can do is simply wake up every morning, put on our monkey suits, and try to play monkey. That's what we do, right? We're all zoo animals. And it's like, well, I'm a zoo animal. What do I got to do this morning? Well, I got to eat something. Okay, cool. And it's like, well, now I got to do a cool trick so that people pay to come to the zoo. And it's like, so here, I'm going to do a cool trick. And then it's like, oh, okay, cool. And then it's like, well, now I got to
poop.
eat something again. Yeah, I got to poop. So I'm going to poop real quick. And maybe I'll throw it. And then it's like, now I got to poop, or I got to eat again so that I can produce more poop for later. And then, maybe more people will come to the zoo.
We're all monkeys.
I think so.
yeah, but like if you didn't have the cool trick part, like then life is boring.
No, if you don't have a cool trick, you're sitting at home right now and you're like, man, I wish I had a cool trick. And then you're like trying to figure out what your cool trick's going to be. That's what I'm saying. Everyone listening to this right now, like I'm just trying to tell you, figure out what your cool trick is.
Yeah.
How badass is it that monkeys they're like, what? And they just throw their own shit at you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And I don't think it's like all monkeys. It's probably like certain I don't know a lot about
They're
monkeys.
the best critics on earth.
Yeah, they really
Yeah.
are.
They
They're
really let
great.
you know how they feel.
I'm actually going to throw you a handful of shit.
Yeah, but see, I don't look at them and go, "Oh, I'm not a monkey. At least that's good." I go, "No, I am this. We're the same."
Do they actually throw their shit, or is this
Yeah, they
just
do.
like a thing
Oh, yeah.
that I've just made
No,
up?
they
No,
hurdle it.
they do.
Yeah,
I've seen it
I've
on
seen
the
it.
YouTube.
they
Yeah.
chuck it.
I've seen it at the zoo.
They also, if you want
Yeah.
to die laughing, they also smoke cigarettes. It's fucking great.
Really?
Yeah, it's people throw cigarettes into the zoo entrapment, and the monkeys pick it up, and they start doing impressions of people, which is amazing.
I want a monkey.
Yeah, and they're fucking like smoking it through their nose, cooler than any cool guy could ever smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
Like it looks badass because they have a look on their face like they really don't give a fuck because they're monkeys.
I have learned so much today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yay.
Shit.
So hey, if you're listening right now, just find your cool trick that gets people to come to the zoo.
Yeah. and do your worst at it.
Yeah,
Alright.
fuck yeah.
And if you have a topic
And be
you want to
disciplined.
discuss, then you can email us at podcast@nikki.limo. Thanks for listening. Also,
Yeah.
rate us on iTunes. If you're listening on iTunes, please rate us nicely.
Thank you.
Like 5 stars. Thanks.
It helps.
Thanks,
Thank
Mom.
you. Bye.
Why didn't anyone tell me?